think the biggest difference of the Dutch style training and the styles anywhere else. I've been all over the world. I've seen gyms all over the world. I've joined them. I've been there. The biggest difference I see is that we spar every week, every day, almost all week long. Every day we spar.
They always, in the first time when they enter, they always surprised how hard we spar, you know. Of course, some of them, they can cope with it, but some of them, they say, no, for me it's too hard, you know, and you don't see them anymore. But that's the way we spar, you know.
Na dubbel stoten, Sammy. Dubbel overheen stoten. Ja, na dubbel, links, rechts. Nu, blijf staan.
So what makes for a successful sparring session then?
Good. No many people injured, so today it's good.
We like to fight and we like to spar hard also, I think, because you need hard sparring. Because in the ring they don't gonna touch you like I wanna make a point. No, they wanna kill you.
Een knie van jou, bam, hij stapt terug en dan maakt hij een trap naar mijn lichaam. Hey, knie, stap terug, trap en hij staat.
Here we are very honest, we not spar, sometimes it can be a knockout. But I think it's more important that it's a fair hard. And not in a moment that one is turning his head away, that you smack him, or that he's already, you know that you can beat him and that you still give him an injury for a few weeks, something like that. No, it's tough sparring, but honest.
You see how sparring here, because there's everybody want to knock him out, this hard sparring, and for me this is first, if I was here first time, for me this is a little bit something difficult, because this everybody won't punch you.
In my case, you know, if you play soccer, you know, then at the end of the training you do a little, you know, like a little 5 to 5, 6 to 6. Then you don't say, no, we don't play soccer that hard or something. You know, but kickboxing, it is what it is. It's the only way to simulate a fight is to actually do it.
It has to be the same as like in a fight. Well, we say we've got like a philosophy, like in training you can die, you can get knocked out and everything, but when the fight is, that's the moment that it has to happen, and mistakes cannot made there. So the mistakes you can make in training, you can make in the fight. That's why I think hard sparring is better than only light sparring.
In our gym, I train with talented guys, very talented guys. If I don't have my hands up, they try to knock me out. So yeah, I love it.
The sparring is harder than, for example, what I see in America. You know, because we did with Glory. It's a good example. We did to develop new talent and determine new talent. We did a road to glory, so-called road to glory, and that were 8-man tournaments for new potential kickboxing fighters. We did in each weight division. We have 60 weight divisions. We did a road to glory, And one of the awards for a Road to Glory winner, beside of the money and a contract for glory, was that they could come over 6 weeks to train to Holland, and then in this gym, so in the Hammers gym. What I saw is that they were very skillful, but they were surprised by the hard sparring. You know, Americans were not used to that, and the guys who survived in the sparring, you know, and we control it. I mean, it's not a slaughtery over here, but for us it's normal, and for them it's like it's a real fight. You know.
Ja, dus als je op een gegeven moment perstraining wilt doen met een trainer, of met een bab, of met een Frans of wat dan ook, dan doe je maar even op een ander moment, of je spreekt duidelijk van tevoren af. Well, basically the people, in my opinion, who are really the pioneers of bringing Thai boxing to the Netherlands and making it to a success, or three trainers from those times. First one is Jan Plas from the old Majiro gym. Second one is Tom Haring from Chakariki, and the third one is Johan Vos from Vos. Those were also the three established gyms who were here in Holland, and for I can remember also in Europe.
Ontspannen, ja. Wat voor en achter. Dan komen we voor met die links-rechts. 1, 2.
For me, that's Jan van Looyen, Jan Plas, and Peter van der Hemel. Those three guys went to Japan for learning some other martial arts, but they find the Japanese way of kickboxing. Mr. Kurosaki and Mr. Fujiwara. They liked that style so much that they took it to Holland. But also Tom Haring was here busy with his kind of kickboxing. He was more looking to the American fighters. Don Wilson, those guys, Chuck Norris, and together with the Muay Thai he developed later his style, Chakuriki. So I think these people were very important for Holland.
Yes, it's getting stronger, more people want to do it. It's getting more of a sport, you know. Now also people who are in the office, you know, want to do kickboxing, want to lose that aggression. Housewives, you know, everybody wants to do it. So that's getting better. No, it's still not organized, you know, so it always leaves you somewhere hanging. The rules are sure but not sure. You know, if the hometown favorite loses, they made up a new rule why he won. Sometimes, not always.
1, 2, cross hier vandaan. Ja? Na die cross gemaakt hebt, ja, hier vandaan, gaat naar zijn lever door. Na die leverstoot, maak een linkshoek naar het hoofd, rechtse knie. Ja? Of course we have so many gyms now, you know, so many trainers. Not everyone is a good trainer, because, and you will see that all over the world, you know, if something is popular, there will always be some idiots who think they are the trainer, they can be trainer. And as long as the government don't put a tight control on it, there will always be guys who think they are trainers. But on the other hand, in the big basket of apples, you know, from the 1,000 apples, you will find 500 good one, you know, and that's still a lot. So I think that is basically what happened here in Holland, is that there's so many trainers come up, and they learn also from the established trainers also, and established gyms also. They want to compete with the big gyms, and they try to learn from the big gyms, and you see that it works, you know, because the guys get better. In those times, only Amsterdam and sometimes Rotterdam deliver good fighters. Now, you have to take it serious. The north of Holland, you have to take serious. The south, the center of Holland, you have to take serious.
First of all, we have a lot of competition in Holland because you can, a fighter can fight every week, and that's very important because it's experience. Then we learn from each other, and I think in general Dutch people are open to look at other systems and other qualities and to use that, you know. And what I saw in my history in other countries, and Thailand is a nice example, the most asked question from a journalist when we were very successful was, which Muay Thai trainer did train you? I always said there was no Thai trainer. I developed my own system, but I picked something from you, I picked something from them, I picked something from my own, and I think that's a great quality of Dutch people, that they are not immediately in the situation like, oh, my thing is the best, you know. There's nothing better than that. We are always open to look at other things and pick something up, and I think that's also why new artists or bringing out a new music album, it's a very good test case to do that with a concert in Holland, you know, because we are not so quickly impressed, you know. To look at myself, I cannot say that I had that I was a fan of one guy, you know, that I was a big fan. You're always looking like, okay, but it needs something to really impress, I think, Dutch people. Maybe that's the question. And we are a small country, and if you are small between all those big guys, yeah, you have to fight, you have to work before they see you, you know.
We are egos. There are a lot of egos, and everybody wants to be the best. So everybody competes with each other to be the best and to show that he is the best. So it's not about hungry or something. It's about honor. You know, you fight for honor, you train for your honor. So that's the reason. I think that. And we are mixed cultures. A lot of cultures here in Holland. It's not only the Dutch, but because I am Moroccan, my students are Moroccans, we have Surinamese, Moroccans, Indos, Curaçao, we have everything. So that's why I think the culture mixed up. So Dutch have also the mentality of Moroccans, Moroccans has also some mentality of the Suriname, something like that. And that's why I think, that's why we are, yeah, one of the best also.
When I was growing up, the memories are we have a lot more kicking bags, and I was building buildings with the kicking pads, and I was running around, and I go from there to there, and yeah, I've fun times I had here, and it was always fun with my dad, and I go with my dad, and we do everything together in that time, so it was fun. Yeah, I have good memories at the gym. I like it, and now still, and I'm building now new memories, so it's going on. It don't stop.
My first memory is training with the big guys. I don't know. My brother was also my biggest idol, so yeah, I just watched everything he did.
It's my brother, Ramon Dekkers, one of the greatest fighters the world ever known in kickboxing, Thai boxing. The belt above it is a present, at least a present. When he passed away, it's a gift. Like this one is from the Golden Glory times. It's my brother with my father. This is me with my brother. There's some old pictures, here are some newer ones. Yeah, we love to memorize things, you know, that if you come into our gym you get a feeling like we're a family, and you see all kinds of memories that we had. Yeah, we like to keep it like this. I think the small things make it special, you know. No, it's also a gift. I just got it from a friend of me. He made it because he also respects my brother, of course, so he made a special t-shirt for me.
So have you not worn it now?
No. Because I'm afraid. They say it's not gonna happen, but I'm afraid that it will come off if I wash it, you know? And it's a nice t-shirt and it's a gift, so I want to keep it like that.
One of a kind.
yeah, same like this thing, it's also made by a fan, a Turkish fan, Burak is his name. We get so many things, you know, and all things to memorize him, and yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Some of his cups here. These are some other trophies from other guys. We take them after a win. We started as gym hammers like 35 years ago, and then after that it became Golden Glory, the team that conquered the world, as they say it. We had a big team with all big names: Khalid Arab, Sam Shield, Gökhan Saki, Nicky Holske, Stefan Leko, Errol Zimmerman. We had all the guys. So yeah, we changed the name for like 3 or 4 years ago back to Hammers Gym, but it's the same. Gym Hammers, Golden Glory, Hammers Gym, it's the same gym. It all happened here. So yeah, for me it didn't change a lot, and I just like to bring it back to my family name because I think that's the name that brought up kickboxing.
I have only one coach, that was Martin Borneman. The gym is called Meng Ho. It was in Rotterdam, the south side of Rotterdam. We are sit on 3 places. I start, yeah, I can tell the streets, but every time a little bit nicer. The smaller, a little bit bigger, and a little bit bigger, but not so big like this. Dus mijn thinking about a gym have to be very big. Okay, did a little thing from a long time ago. Okay. Yeah, I get the present. Did our presents. This is a present from a friend of mine. Yeah, I have to speak for itself. This is something for the opening from the gym. I lost only one handshoe. I don't know where it is. But there was somebody make it for the gym. Yeah, this is old school America. I get also as present. One photo with one of my belts for the world title. And this is very nice. I go 4 times to Japan with the Golden Glory that time. I train also with the guys from Golden Glory, because from 2003 till 2008. I did some veteran fights. So I was on the age of 43 till 48, and 5 years I only fight against younger people. And we go also with a team. That's the brother of Gökhan Saki. And we go there for Gökhan Saki, of course, because that is our friend. He's very close to us.
Leave this, come on.
And in the early 80s, to start, I was already the professional. But look, the core hammers, they started already the core hammers. You can, yeah, I have a lot of things here. This is in '83. I fight in Paris. And a lot of things here also. But also in the gym area, I have a lot of posters also. A poster that the core hammers was already A-class. He started also professional that time. They got a picture for me, and then the Frank Lopman. You know the Frank Lopman? He was good in the ring also.
I had a friend of me training in Magiro gym, and he was a street friend. We used to play soccer on the street, and he just introduced me by giving me a low kick what Thai boxing was. So I was impressed about the impact of a low kick. So I would, I won't take the opportunity to learn it. So basically, how it started with us was 4 or 5 friends training in a building, an old building, not even a gym, and to practice ourselves. And a year later, I entered in Johan Vos, and that was my first time I get really involved in Thai boxing.
When I was 6 years old, actually, I started with judo. So then we're talking about 54 years ago. Then I step over very quickly to Kyokushin Karate, and let me say I did fighting tournaments, karate tournaments. I did Pencak Silat tournaments, but coming into kickboxing was in the early 70s, and then I started fighting myself like 1975. So that's about 40 years ago. And I was actually inspired by, that's actually a funny story. I was inspired by a guy like Bruce Lee and Bill Wallace out of the States, Bill Superfoot Wallace. And it was my inspiration. And now being into Glory since 4 years and trying with our team to achieve a bigger platform for kickboxing, we are coming back to America, and everybody in America is telling, oh, that is a nice product, it's a new product, but it's actually a product inspired by me, and I was inspired by America. So for me the circle is kind of there now again, you know.
3, weghalen, hoek, low kick. 2, en ik haal hem weg. Trap, alles weer laag en I keep looking up front. Hè. Nu komt er een hand erbij. 3, weghalen, hoeken, trappen. 4, weghalen, stoten, trappen. Ja. Boom, nou komt hij terug. Niet het probleem. Ik maak mijn traps. Now the right kick in front. 4.
Jan Plas influenced me the most. Oh, he was a sensei when you go in the dojo, but if you around, it was more like a friend. Yeah, that was the biggest thing, and very good in learning you. And his strategy was also always correct. So a loyal, so a nice man to, not like a dictator. No, more a human being than something high, sensei or Sihan or Sifu, all those things. Respect in the dojo, and if you go around, we were just a group of friends.
This is a BLM altitude chamber. We can train here in higher altitude, like less oxygen. We can go up to 6,500 meters, and well, that's what we do here. It's a chamber in which we blow in air with less oxygen. So the less oxygen there is, the higher you get in the mountains normally, and that's what's happening here. It feels funny when you go inside. It's you'll feel when you breathe a bit more difficult. When you move too much, you will feel it, and you get tired quickly. In your head, you will feel a bit funny first time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 17, 18.
Now it's not too busy. We just had a lot of fights, and some of the boys and girls are fighting this weekend, so they're not here now. They have a day off. But normally we have about 12 to 14 boys and girls, 16 in the morning training. What we do in Holland is you start to join the club just like everybody, and when we see like you've got some more skills than just being here for fun, we talk to you. We say like, okay, would you like to do some fights, or would you like to join the fighters group? And from there on we start watching the boys. Whenever we think he's ready to get into a fight, we will find him a fight. And the way it works in Holland is we start with beginners fights. So all those boys, they don't have more than 4 or 5 fights. You have to win a few of them, then you go to the C class. Yeah, then you also need to win like 5 or 6 fights, and then you pass to the B class. That's the semi-pro. And this is one of the most important stages, because the first one is very wild, and the boys, they just fight with their heart, not with their head. C class, you trying to get a bit more of rest into your fight, and then the B class, the serious stuff starts. You need to start thinking, to be clever, to be tactical, and this is the main stage going up to be an A class and the pro fighter, and it's a very important one. You learn a lot in the B class, and I always advise the boys not to go too quick through the B class, because what happens is once you get into the B class, the A class is waiting for you, and they want to be pro. Everybody wants to be pro. They want to, but don't go too quick. Use your B class. Take a lot of fights in the B class to get better, because the boys, especially when you are starting to be in the B class, you start with starters in the B class. So boys just coming from the C to the B, but whenever you've got a few fights, you're getting experienced B classes. So boys almost ready to go or just about to go to the A class, and you get very good fighters there, and it's the most important stage to learn how to fight. And once you get into the A class, a pro, the same thing happens. You start with the starter, with the beginners, A class, a few fights, and then it doesn't matter anymore. You can get an Andy Sauer, a Moitje Kamal, or you can get any other unknown A class fighter. And this is the way we do it in Holland, and the way we try to get the boys little by little better, and prepare them for the big stuff.
Nog een middentrap erbij links. Nog één.
Well, I've grown up, of course, looking at my dad and my brother, and they were, yeah, my dad and my brother. My parents met because of my dad was the trainer of my brother, but the way how our gym works, we are really a family. We are, yeah, brothers from another mother. That's how we call it. You know, we eat, sleep, bleed, cry, laugh together. You know, we do everything together. So we're more than friends. But it takes a while, of course, and the team selects itself. But the real group is like family.
I don't know family, because family you cannot choose. You know, you can choose your gym. You know, and if you feel good, you feel good. You know, and if you work hard together, you get things done. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. Simple as that. And if you do it together, you know, it's easier to do. So, I don't know if it's a family, you know, but they are very close, you know. It's some kind of the friendship you thought you would never have. Sometimes you meet people No, let me say, I have my first fighter, Yuri Mes, he's the logo. And we have almost nothing in common except fighting and training. But there is nobody in the world almost dearest to me than he is. You know, he is a very special person. But if I would meet him in real life, or he meet me, you know, he wouldn't even talk for 5 minutes, I think. But because of the sports, you know, we are, how do you say it? Unconditional. Unconditional love, unconditionally together. It's also what sports does to you. And that's also with fighters, so sometimes it brings you friends you normally don't have. Or you don't see. Or you don't get.
Het enige wat ik doe, is ik laat mijn schouder een beetje hangen. Ik laat mijn schouder hangen en dan kom ik omhoog. Boom! Hij is altijd eraf. Maar kijk, rustig aan. Als ik hem hierin sla, hup, dan komt hij in één keer er doorheen. Daar moet hij vanuit komen. En ziet hij komt allemaal naar voren.
Nu moet ik zijn voor die camera.
They're all characters. I can tell you that. They're all characters, you know. Every individual, you know, they have their own thing, their own name, their own. But that's what makes them special, you know. It makes them special in life as a fighter. It's also because they are a little bit different than the other guys. So, well, everybody knows my fighters, you know. They have one thing in common, you know. They can build up a little aggression, you know, that it's gonna be totally demolish you, because that's what we're famous for.
Niet vooruit, hè, niet naar buiten, moet het in. Even uit balans was je. Komt ie weer, komt ie weer. 1, 2, 3, Hey, 1, 2, we do it 2 times. 2, 1, now we do the right side. 1, 2, trap. Goed.
I think it's two. One is that what Jan always say, that pain is okay and bloedmoed. Yeah? Pain is fine, so the pain that you have with training, that's okay. And bloedmoed, and we need blood. You know, it's how you call it, paradoxal. Pain is fine and bloedmoed, strange. But I think the most important thing is, the one I like very much is to win from an opponent makes you strong, but to win from yourself makes you wise, give you power, you understand? So it's not, win from somebody is easy, or it's a victory. But to win from yourself, you have to win of your own wrong habits, smoking, or not go to training, or swearing, or and you win of that, you step over that, then it gives you power.
What makes a good fighter? That's the difficult question, because for everybody is that his own thing, you know. Every fighter is it's not like a football team that you can say, okay, you need to have this or you need to have that, because every fighter is different, and you need to find it in yourself that you need to be confident, you need to be sharp, you need to have a good stamina. Everything need to be on point to be a good fighter. And what you need to be for a good fighter, I think discipline is one of the most important, because you need to train and you need to be at the gym. I think that is one of the most important things, discipline. And keep on the good track.
The most important thing is that you love this sport, the fighting scene. Not because you want to be on the front page of the magazine or going in for a lot of money, because then you're in the wrong business. But yeah, the love for the sport. Yeah, and some talent, of course, some talent you need. And then you can go far. Yeah. It's not easy, but the reward is always nice to stand with your arms in the air if you win. And in this sport there is no second place. There's only number one.
Nog een keer. Kappen, stoot, 2 graden, uitvallen, stoot. Laatste keer. Kappen, 1, 2 stoten, bal weg, stoot.
You need discipline a lot. It takes time to train, to do your food. Yeah, discipline is the most important thing, I think.
You need to know what you want, and if you know what you want, you can get there. But it's a hard way to get there, and I'm not almost there. I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna get there.
Denk in je puntjes, jongens, al je maar 10 keer naar de corner.
At first he have to have the good techniques, but the second in his head he have to want to be the champion. If you only have the techniques but don't the mindset to become a champion, then you don't want to be then you don't become a champion. You have to dream about it, you have to whole day you have to think about I want to be the champion, I want to be the champion. If you have that, I think you're gonna be the champion. If you only have the techniques and don't have the mindset, think like a champion, then you don't gonna be a champion.
A fighter is not only a fighter inside the ring, he's a fighter outside the ring too, but in the meaning that that he's motivated, he loves to, he's fighting with his heart, he's fighting against himself, because that's the biggest challenge. A lot of fighters are great fighters, but they don't want to train. Well, I've got that problem too. I fight with myself in the preparation, so you have to keep yourself motivated for fights, to train and everything, and I think that makes a great fighter. Yeah.
A world-class fighter is a complete fighter. The people love him, or they hate him, by the way, but they come to watch him fight. That's a world-class fighter, and he must win. That's what I try to get to to tell my students about it. They must entertain the crowd. It's an entertaining fight, so you must entertain. You can get 10 belts, but if you don't are the people champ, you are nothing. So you can better be a people champ than a champ because you have a belt. So that's why I'm telling my students every day.
We zijn naar het hoofd. Left kick to the head after. Oh, kom on.
Not only the things, the quality he possesses, but it's also the things he wants to give up for it. You know, sometimes you just need to have the power and the will to work hard. You know, and if you don't possess that quality, you know, it's even more. You know, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard.
They have to perform on high level, so they have to train also. But it's easy now. Normally we have more. Huh?
Is this every day?
No, this is 3 times a day, and 2 times a day we do pads. Michael, you take 1 round quickly. You cannot stop. I've seen many guys with such a load of talent, but at a certain point when you're all good and professional, you have to train hard. If you don't train for it, you'll not make it. So I think it's not what you do inside the gym, it's also what you do outside of the gym. You know, you can train hard, but if you fuck it up after training, it's a whole way of life to be a pro. So I think that's very important, the training effort.
Leven. Oh, dan moet het toch. Dat is echt
The best fighters ever to come out of Holland. Well, Rob Kalman, Ernest Hoost, Peter Arts, Badr Hari, Sammy Shield, Ramon Dekkers, Gilbert Valentine, Andy Sauer. There are a few, you know, like Lucien Carbin back in the day. There are a few fighters, you know, like Fred Royers. I probably would have forgotten, you know, once you walk out the door, oh, I mean, this guy also, you know, so I'm sorry for this, but this are just the fighters who are at the tip of my tongue at the moment. They were very, 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 very good in their time, of course. You know, nowadays kickboxing is different. It's different, you know, but I think they would get along in the system. Maybe not as the top fighter, but certainly as a middle class fighter or something, I think.
After I started, I was watching Sauer, Puramuk, and Peter Aerts, Badr Hari, Gokhan Saki. It's, yeah, Ramon Dekkers, of course, Rob Kaman. We have a lot of legends. So after I started and I liked the sport, then I did my research and I was looking for for fights like Ramon Dekkers, and yeah, so I saw them all. I saw all that fights, just to study them and to be better, to develop myself also. So.
Nee, links beginnen, links beginnen. Linker opstoot, rechts direct. I think it's still growing. It stays growing. Everyone likes kickboxing. It is a lot of times on television, and only for that. In Holland, they make a movie about kickboxing now that make it also more popular. I think it's still growing.
So, do you see any of the children potentially being future champions?
Yeah, I have a few kids here. They come every day, and 1 hour before that they have to train. I think that are the guys and the girls who be somebody in the future. For me was that Rob Kaman. Rob Kaman was he make Holland big with kickboxing. He was the guy with the heavy low kicks, the good style, good punches. He did everything okay. I think he fought on, how much kilogram he fought? 69, 70 kilos. So he go also to Thailand because he was not too heavy. And yeah, he made a real name. And later on was Ramon Dekkers, a lightweight, but I think he making a very big name. I saw Ramon Dekkers coming in the gyms when he was a little guy. Yeah, he had it. That was the guy, yeah, in his heart, in his mind. He was the guy for kickboxing. It was super. And Thai boxing, of course. He was a very hard worker. Yeah, he was a very hard worker. When you speak with Cor, then you hear his story. He was in gym all very, very good. With sparring, he was unbelievable good. Even when he started with this.
Starting with Ramon Dekkers, it's great. It's one of the biggest, the greatest fighters we will ever see. A 65 kilogram boy with a punch power of a 90 kilogram big heavyweight guy. It's enormous. It's unbelievable. It's well, we all know him, and that's not just because he's a great fighter. He's for me #1.
First of all, of course, for me, Ramon Dekkers was, you know, because Ramon not even show it on Dutch level, you know, but also on Thai level, on 2 different platforms. So that was amazing, you know, because there are many good Dutch kickboxing fighters or K1 rule fighters, but there are less who can scope with the Thai, because that's something different, you know, with the elbows.
Ramon Dekkers, of course. Simple question. He had talent, he had style, he had power, and he had the training effort. He was just everything. He was like Maradona of soccer. He did everything for his sport. He trained hard and he had talent, so he showed it to the world.
For me, definitely that is Ramon, you know, because and that's difficult because it's not difficult, but maybe for other people to understand, because they will say, okay, it's his stepson, it was his student, and it was his most successful fighter if it comes to how well known he is in the world. But beside of that, I still think he is, because all those factors that I mentioned before, like his appearance, it was a humble guy, open for the fans, his charisma, his skills, his power, how explosive that the guy was. He was aggressive, but on the right moments. So in the ring, he could control his aggressiveness You know, when it was necessary, it was there. But even with Ramon, I saw moments that he started an attack, and he already analyzed that it should not land, and then he stopped it. And it's very difficult to have a control like that. He was a very controlled, charismatic, and with a big appearance fighter. And I cannot say that I saw somebody like him back yet. I saw a lot of great fighters, but with all those factors together, no. I think for me he's the best fighter that Holland produced in this sport. Yeah, definitely is. And not he also had some fights that he had to lose, you know. So it's not that he is undefeated, but yeah. To answer your question, for me he is he's the best that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think Ramon just is the best fighter, and you have a lot of guys that are really good, but I think Ramon is one of the guys that really opened the door for international kickboxing, because before it was Holland against Holland, and when he knocked out Nampon in Holland, everything just started. And Ramon was one of the most humble people you know. You know, if you would speak with him for like 2 hours, you wouldn't even know that he was a kickboxer. Yeah, you would see it in his face, of course, but I don't know. It's just that's why he's a real champion for me. You know, I don't know how to say it in English, but he never walked next to his shoes. You know, he was always nice, always doing his thing, training, nice to his opponent. And when the bell rang, he just came to take your head off. You know, so I think everybody knows, because Ramon was always the same. If anybody that knows him will agree with me. So, of course, against Nampon, it started up. It was a live broadcasting to Thailand. I think, if I'm correct, it was not in Amsterdam. I don't remember where it was. But he knocked out the Thai Lumpini champion. He knocked him down 2 times. And of course he won. So then the game started. He had to go to Thailand. And then, of course, one of the most famous fights is Koban. They fought 4 times. They both won 2 times. And for me, I personally like the fight against Joe Prestia. I don't know if you heard about that fight, but it's a sick fight. And yeah, all of my brother's fights were good, you know. But I think that are one of the most influential fights. Koban, Prestia, and Nampon. And Cherry Wani. Yeah, I can name so many fights. Yeah. We were a real tight family, you know. We see each other every day. He loved fishing. The weekend we went out for a drink. We liked drinking a beer. And he was just a family man, being with his children and fishing. He loved fishing. Yeah, he was really relaxed, just living life a little bit after fighting. I think my brother was something special. By looking at his fights, and just not only my brother, he was also my real idol, you know. I just loved everything he did. Yeah, he belongs with the names like Ali, Tyson, so I hope everybody just still in 10 years from now, I hope they still watch his video and say, this is what I want to be in the sport. That would be the best thing for me, to hear that people still say, who's your best fighter? Yeah, Ramon Dekkers. And yeah, it's good to hear that, you know. It's really good.
Coming for you all. Trainen. When you train hard, you see blood. Blood is red sweat. Train hard.